A student produced this for UND's TV show, Studio One.
The University of North Dakota has gained a new leader, and he plans to set up the university for success. But he also wants to help students gain knowledge about the business world along the way. Interim President of the UND, Ed Schafer, is here to tell us how he intends to do both. Thanks for being on the show with us today.
It's good to be with you.
So you have quite the resume. You started off in the business world, and then you went to state government as the governor of North Dakota, and then federal government as the Secretary of Agriculture. You then came full circle back to where you went to school, and you're the president here now. How did you get back to UND?
Well, it obviously was a long trail, many years in between my two stops on campus. But the situation was the president of UND was leaving. There was a presidential search that wasn't going to be completed as a crossover, so there was a time period in between, and they were looking for someone to serve as an interim president. I was approached a couple of times, wasn't quite interested, but then Nancy, my wife Nancy, and I started talking about it at home, and here we ended up. It seemed like a thing to do.
What are your top priorities while you're here?
Well, we have several priorities. The top ones, of course, are the budget. We have some real budget challenges at UND, and we're starting to approach those to be able to focus the money on the excellent priority programs that we have at UND, and I think that budget process is going to be great. We have some issues of morale problems between the faculty and the administration, and between students and the administration. I think the students are coming along real great. I don't sense that that's an issue, but there's some always kind of skirmishes between who's running the show and is it the administration or the faculty and who's driving it. And the most important thing there is the focus on the student learning experience. So we're trying to get everybody focused on that instead of against each other, and I think that's working out pretty well as well.
You have a short amount of time to do all of those things. How are you going to do it?
Well, we won't get them all done. We're going to start down the process. The budget process will be 3 to 5 years. The morale issues, how do you know how to solve those? I mean, it takes some time. But the point is, we'll put the budget on the table that is going to be implemented over a several-year period. We hope that the new president is going to follow along that budget guideline. We'll put an administrative capacity on the table, looking at the organizational chart, the positions, evaluating people. We'll put that on the table for the new president to fully implement as it goes forward. And likewise, that student learning experience, we've got some ideas about how to make that better, more secure, more sound, and more energizing for the students. And so hopefully we'll get that on the table as well for, our role as interim president is to make sure that we have a launching pad for the new president to drive this university forward.
Can you give me one example of what the hardest part was to be coming into being president here?
I think the hardest part was really making a decision. Nancy and I had kind of plotted out our lives and thought we were going to go in one direction, and changing direction on that, you have to take into consideration family, location, much different areas, our workloads, what we're going to do. And so we had to come to the grips with saying, is this something we want to do? The hardest piece of that was how to define interim. An interim, I talked to some governor friends of mine who are presidents of universities, and they said sometimes the interim position is 3 years, so we had to get that defined. But I don't know that there was anything really hard about it. This is exciting, it's fun, and once we made the decision to come here, it's just been all great.
We have a picture that will be shown in just a second here. What is your favorite part about working with students as we show this picture of you being a student here?
Well, the most exciting thing for me as a student to be back, students are energizing. Students are exciting. When I try to get in a classroom at least once a week, as a guest lecturer, of some kind. I'm out, like Nancy and I are over in the Union. We're, eating in the dining facilities. That we're working out at the Wellness Center. Students are exciting. They're engaged. They're learning. They're searching. They're eager on new things and new ideas, and that charges you up.
What's the most important thing that you want your students to learn before they leave UND?
I think the most important thing that our students will be, we want to graduate students that are informed, that are smart, that have nimble minds, and all the learning experiences, but also students who engage in the community. It's more than leaving university and getting a job. It's becoming a member of a community and all the parts of that I think are important. So we want to graduate students that are you know, that are brilliant, you know, that are informed. And have learning skills, because you don't stop learning once you leave the university, but also that important element of engaging strongly in the community, becoming a part of a community, is what our university should be all about.
And lastly, is it going to be hard for you to leave come July 1st?
Yes, it is. It's, you know, Nancy and I love it here. It's, you know, the whole job seems to fit. All that I've done in my life has come to bear here, and you know, I walked into that office and went, this is comfortable. You know, this is nice. This is the things that I've done help me do this job, and it will be hard. It's, you know, it's my university. I love the job. I love being here, and we've had to walk out of the governor's office. We've had to walk out of the secretary's office. We'll walk out of the president's office with sadness, but the joy of getting our lives back too.
Great. Thanks so much for your time today. We love to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.